Hello, everybody, and welcome into this evening's broadcast. I am Samuel Reese coming to you live across YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. It's the Sweet 16, and in the South region this evening from Hinkle Fieldhouse, it's the 5-seed Villanova Wildcats taking on the 1-seed Baylor Bears with a spot in the Elite Eight on the line. The winner of this game will play the winner of Arkansas and the Cinderella story, Oral Roberts. They will face off later tonight at 7:25 Eastern Time at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Well, already one game in the books in the Sweet 16, which ended just about a half hour ago, and the 12th seeded Oregon State Beavers are into the Elite Eight, defeating a fan favorite, Loyola Chicago. But Loyola's run comes to a close, and the Oregon State Beavers from the Pac-12 are moving on to the Elite Eight, but still 7 more Sweet 16 matchups to look forward to, 3 more today, and then 4 more tomorrow. Let's get to the starting lineups. First for the Villanova Wildcats, they go with Arcidiacono, Moore, Daniels, Samuels, and Robinson Earl. For the Baylor Bears, meanwhile, it's Mitchell, Butler, Teague, Vital, and Thamba. So that's what the lineups look like for both sides tonight. And we are just about set to tip things off, a 5:20 tip-off at Hinkle Fieldhouse. This whole March Madness tournament, of course, taking place in the Indianapolis area. The Oregon State Loyola Chicago game earlier today was a great one, and hopefully this one will be as well. We're underway from Hinkle Fieldhouse, the opening tip controlled by the Baylor Bears, and off we go. How about Villanova without their star player Connor Gillespie still here in the Sweet 16? Villanova in blue, Baylor in white, and there's a steal right off the bat from the Wildcats. James Breeding, Jerry Pollard, and Byron Jarrett, by the way, are this evening's officials. With it here for Baylor is Justin Moore. Moore passes it off, spin move in the lane, but denied. Right there was Robinson Earl, an offensive rebound, though, and fouled on the putback. It's on Robinson Earl. Scott Drew, the head coach of Baylor, a 13-8 NCAA tournament record, his 5th Sweet 16 appearance. And the first free throw is good from Jermaine Samuels. And Villanova are the first ones on the board. Second free throw converted as well. 2-0 lead for the Wildcats early on. Villanova, of course, out of the Big East. Baylor out of the Big 12. Baylor has been outscoring their opponents this season by an average of 18 points per game. The last meeting between these two teams came on November 24th of 2019. It's the Bears' first Sweet 16 appearance since 2017. Here is Butler inside, and Flo Thamba throws it down, and Baylor, with their first basket of the game, tie it at 2. Villanova, by the way, a 6-9 record all-time against 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament, a 12-0 record this season when holding opponents to fewer than 70 points a game. Their 7th time in the last 20 seasons appearing in the Sweet 16. And Villanova claim back the lead as the layup is converted by Justin Moore. Cross-court pass here from Mitchell. Welcome into the broadcast, Drew. You need a Nova W. We'll see if they can get it, as that's a strong drive along the baseline, and Trey Patterson ties the game at 4. Jared Butler in this tournament averaging 14.5 points per game, 4.5 steals. 4.5 assists, 2.5 steals. He's been the leader for this Baylor team. Spin inside, kick to the corner, and now an open look from 3, but too strong by Caleb Daniels. Baylor grabbed the rebound, cross-court pass, and now it's up top with Mitchell. Mitchell gets it back from Jared Butler. Now here's Butler again, driving the baseline. Nice bounce pass. Thamba couldn't finish. Offensive board. Pass to the corner, and the three is off the mark. But another offensive rebound. This time it's snatched by Teague. That three, too strong. And finally, Villanova corral the board. And here come the Wildcats in transition. Moore with the pass inside. Physical play. Count the basket plus the foul. Getting it done was Robinson Earl. Fighting his way through, and Thamba committing the foul for Baylor. And one shot coming up for Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who has averaged 20 points per game in March Madness. Can't convert the free throw. And it's 6-4 with 3 minutes played at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Thamba already with 2 fouls for Baylor, by the way. He has come out. Early foul trouble for him. Not something Baylor wants. Here is Davion Mitchell. Mitchell, nice move. The deep 2, good. Smooth from Davion Mitchell. And we're tied at 6. He's averaging 14 points per game in this tournament. 5.5 assists and a 61% field goal percentage, and a traveling violation called against Chris Arcidiacono. So Villanova turn it over. Baylor, obviously a great defensive team. The same could be said for Villanova, and that's where I think Villanova, they got to keep the game relatively low scoring if they want a chance. They're shooting 2 of 4. Baylor 3 of 6 early on. Here in the corner is Teague. And that pass is tipped, retrieved in the backcourt by Teague. Teague steps into the 3. Off the back iron, and it's rebounded by Justin Moore. Moore passes it to Daniels. Daniels taking it strong. And the shot got blocked, and it's last touched by Robinson Earl. It'll be Baylor basketball after the break. 15:43 to go in the opening half. We're just getting started in this South Regional semifinal from Hinkle Fieldhouse. 6-6 between the Wildcats and Bears. I'm back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the broadcast, everybody. 6-6 early on between Villanova and Baylor in the Sweet 16 from Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hinkle Fieldhouse, home of Butler University. Jay Wright in the NCAA Tournament since 2016 has compiled an impressive 16-2 record. Of course, won the national championship in that unforgettable championship game against UNC. 15:43 to go in the opening half, and we're back underway after the first media timeout. Baylor in possession. Cross-court pass in the corner. It'll be a foul called against Nova. Jared Butler had it for the Bears. Colin Gillespie, who tore his MCL on March 3rd against Creighton, averaged 14 points per game this season, their best player, and he is watching on from the stands tonight. Good to see him supporting his team, but it's tough to see him not being able to play in this NCAA tournament. Butler fouled by Swider on the shot. 2 free throws on the way for Jared Butler. And the first free throw is off the mark from Butler. Second free throw attempt on the way. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by on whichever platform you're tuning in on. And both free throws off the mark, but it's an offensive rebound. The putback no good from Vital. And here come Villanova the other way. So 2 misses at the line there. And now here's Justin Moore. Nice feed down low, but losing concentration was Jermaine Samuels, and he's unable to haul in the pass. Well, it could have been an easy 2 points. And he just lost concentration there. It slipped right through his hands. And that's the 3rd turnover already for Nova. Mitchell will bring it up for Baylor. Mitchell. And now with the ball is Matthew Mayer. Mitchell once more. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Mitchell, the jumper from the stripe, knocks it down. And that is a solid possession right there for the Bears, who regain the lead. 8-6 the score. 4 points for Mitchell early on. Robinson Earl hands it off to Antoine. Now the deep 2. Good from the baseline. It's Robinson Earl who ties the game up at 8. He has 4 points in the early stages. That 3 no good, and it's last touched by Teague. It'll be Villanova ball. Going back to that Robinson Earl field goal a minute ago. You can tell he's a player who's playing with a lot of confidence right now this season against top 25 teams. That's when he's showed up the most. 17.3 points, 51% shooting from the field. Both teams with no 3-point field goals yet. Could that change soon? Robinson Earl, the bounce pass to Samuels. Samuels double teamed in the low post. The kick out and the 3 ball short, but an offensive board by Samuels. Another 3 on the way, and this time it's Arcidiacono who connects from downtown. First 3 ball of the evening, and it's Villanova who take an 11-8 lead. Here's Mitchell for Baylor. They'll move it along the perimeter. On the left wing. Going up for the shot and having it partially blocked was Mitchell. He keeps with it. But the pass out to Flagler could not be controlled, and it's another turnover for Baylor. Look at some advanced stats. Villanova this season, just 8.8 turnovers per game, which is the fewest in the NCAA. They've had 6 straight games with 9 or less turnovers. So this is a team who takes pride in protecting the ball, although they've already had 3 so far, Baylor with 2 of their own. Here's Jermaine Samuels. Samuels picks up the dribble. Now on the baseline, it's Robinson Earl. Robinson Earl in traffic, top of the key. Now it's with Samuels again. 7 to shoot. Samuels keeps the dribble. Pass inside, tipped, makes its way to the corner with Slater. That jumper no good. Battle for the rebound. Last touched by Slater, and it will be Baylor basketball. And for the first time, Jeremiah Robinson Earl will come out of the game for Villanova. Look at the Baylor scoring drought. No points in the last 2 minutes for them. Here's the lob and the throwdown. Butler with the assist to Meyer, and it's a 1-point game, 8 minutes played in Indianapolis. In the far corner along the baseline, it's passed out beyond the 3-point line. Arcidiacono trying to draw the foul. Does not. Now it's out with Slater. Slater with 5 to shoot, in a bit of trouble. Passes it off. Mid-range no good. The putback off the mark. Trying to throw it down with Samuels. Came up unsuccessful. Here's Mayer. Cross-court pass to Flagler. Nice spin around move. Shot won't go. Offensive board. The putback off the mark as well from Teague. And now Villanova, by the way, in a scoring drought of their own. They've had no points in the last 2.5 minutes or so. Here is Chris Arcidiacono. Bounce pass for Eric Dixon. Dixon guarded by Chachoa. Now Daniels has to put up a shot and does, but it's well short, and it's a shot clock violation. The Baylor Bears fired up. Their solid defense paying off. How about the alley-oop? Butler to Mayer. That connection strong early on. However, it's Villanova with an 11-10 lead. I'll be back after the timeout. Don't go anywhere. It's the Sweet 16 here on YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Welcome back in, everybody. A reminder that the 2021 NCAA Women's Final Four from San Antonio will be April 2nd and the 4th. I'll be on the call for one of the semifinals and the final. Look at the tournament summary here on the men's side. It's the first time that 4 teams seeded 11th or lower are in the Sweet 16. And when it comes to the Big Ten, Michigan is the lone team remaining from that conference. There were 9 teams in the field. And how about Oregon State earlier today advancing to their first Elite Eight since 1982 as the 12th seed? This is an Oregon State team who before the season were picked to finish last in the Pac-12, were 11-11 at one point this season. The only way that they were going to get into the NCAA tournament was to win the Pac-12 tournament. They did that. And now here they are in the Elite Eight, winning 8 of their last 9 games. As that is off of Villanova, last touched by Robinson Earl, as we are out of the second media timeout of the half. 11-10 the score. Villanova looking to pull off the upset in the second game of 4 today in the Sweet 16. What a great day it is of March Madness. All right, here for Baylor is Teague. Teague on his knees, kept the dribble going. Now finds Mitchell. 5 to shoot. Mitchell off the screen, still double teamed. A nice pass inside, and the finish by Vital puts Baylor in the lead. 12-11, midway point just about of the first half at Hinkle Fieldhouse. No points in the last 3.5 minutes for the Wildcats. Looking to end that drought here. It's Slater, top of the key. Hands it off. Now it's with Antoine. Robinson Earl with 5 to shoot. Robinson Earl spinning his way through. The pass given away. It's Butler with the steal. No foul called here as Baylor will look to slow down the tempo. Butler gets it back from Mitchell. The step back 3 on the way. No good. The rebound controlled by the Bears, and one for Teague. Through contact, got the bucket to go, and a chance for a 3-point play. How about this work by Baylor on the offensive glass? Every miss they've had on offense, they have not made it easy for Villanova to secure the rebound. Teague fouled on the play by Justin Moore. In his last 5 games, he's been spectacular, averaging 21.4 points, 52.6% from the field. And here comes the free throw attempt. As I said at the top of the broadcast, the winner of this one will take on either Houston or Syracuse. That's the nightcap of tonight's Sweet 16 action. The free throw converted by Teague, and the Baylor Bears have a 4-point lead. Villanova still in search of ending their scoring drought. Robinson Earl finds Caleb Daniels. A 7-0 run for the Bears in the last 3 minutes. Bounce pass to Robinson Earl. The deep 2 is an air ball. Well off the mark on the baseline shot. Now at the other end, it's Mitchell. Mitchell lost his balance. Gets it to Teague. Now the 3-pointer from Butler, too strong. And this time, Villanova secure the rebound. It's Caleb Daniels who's there. Villanova closing in on 5 minutes without a field goal. And that deep 2 will not go. The scoring drought rolls on. Now it's Mitchell. Villanova being out-rebounded 11-8. On the left wing, it's Jared Butler. Butler, the 3-pointer. Yes! Jared Butler starting to feel himself on offense. 5 points, first 3-pointer, and Baylor have a 7-point lead in the midst of a 10-0 run. It was 11-8 Villanova at one point. Nova in desperate need of a response. Nice pass outside, and the 3-pointer rolls in for Caleb Daniels. A much-needed triple for the Wildcats. 8 minutes to play now in the opening half. Here is Mitchell at the point for Baylor. Butler top of the key. The lob up high, secured by Chachua. Now back up top. 5 on the shot clock. The three-pointer is too strong, and securing the rebound is Justin Moore. Here on the right wing is Cole Swider. Nice ball movement by the Wildcats. Three-pointer from the left wing. Good! Back-to-back threes. This time it's Justin Moore, and the Wildcats are within 1. The first 3 for Moore, 5 points for him, and it's 18-17, Baylor by 1. Here on the right wing is Jared Butler. Butler, pass inside, deflected. Who was it last touched by? We don't know, but this is not looking good here. Mark Vital of Baylor clutching his left ankle as he went to try to save that ball. He took a, let's see what would happen here. There's a bit of a staircase that he hopped over, but then he landed on his left ankle, I believe it was. Hopefully he's okay. We'll step aside. Timeout on the floor. 6:59 to go in the first half. It's Baylor 18, Villanova 17 in a good one from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Welcome back in, everybody. 18-17, Baylor by 1, 6:59 to play in the first half. And right now the concern is the health of Vital for Baylor, who landed on that left ankle awkwardly. He did get back up on his own, but we'll see how significant that injury is. Now, a key stat line early on, Baylor outscoring Villanova in the paint 10-4. Those 2 3-pointers, though, from Villanova were crucial as they were in a big scoring drought, trailing by 7. It's now a 1-point game. Villanova with the ball. Here's a pass inside. Back out from Robinson Earl. Faking the shot of Samuels, who takes it in and goes airborne. The foul called. He was going for it all right there, and he will earn a trip to the line with 2 free throws on the way. Wow. And Mark Vital is back out there for Baylor, so fortunately it seems like it's nothing serious. It looked like it certainly could have been at first, and it was a very awkward landing on that left ankle of his. First free throw knocked down by Samuels, and now on the second attempt, we'll look to put Villanova in the lead. And he does. 19-18. Wildcats by 1, and now they're on a scoring run of their own, an 8-0 run in the last 90 seconds. Top of the key, it's Butler. 3-pointer from Mayer, no good. And there for the rebound is Robinson Earl. Here's now Slater. Slater to Daniels. Nova are shooting 3 of 6 from downtown. Spin move inside. And now the ball is loose, picked up by Robinson Earl. He'll kick it out. The 3-pointer too strong. Another offensive board by Robinson Earl. Feeding it down low. The basket is good, plus the foul. Jermaine Samuels with the and one. And now I was talking about how Baylor were dominating the offensive glass. Now Villanova doing just the same. Samuels with 6 points, 3 rebounds. And trying to cap off a traditional 3-point play. As Baylor will make a substitution. Mayer comes off. Flo Thamba into the game for the Bears. And he knocks down the free throw. Villanova by 4. Samuels will get a breather. Back into the game is Eric Dixon. 6 minutes to play in the opening half. Villanova 5 of 6 at the line so far. Here's Mitchell. Passes it off. The 3-pointer. Short. And it's Justin Moore who will push it ahead for Villanova. Moore driving the left side. Now back out. Here's Caleb Daniels. Daniels, 1-on-1, takes it in. Floater short, gets his own rebound. That's no good. But tapping it in on the third try is Robinson Earl, who's been a force on the offensive glass. And Villanova have a 24-18 lead. And Baylor, believe it or not, face their largest deficit in the tournament. It's a 13-0 scoring run in the last 3 minutes. And that pass is stolen. Robinson Earl with a steal. And spinning through is fouled on the play by Jared Butler. Villanova just relentless on the offensive glass and then forcing a turnover at the other end. The steal by Robinson Earl, who's been all over the place in this first half for the Wildcats. His mom, Katie Robinson, there in attendance, enjoying what she's seeing so far from her son. Baylor with another change. Butler will take a seat, and it's Masio Teague back into the game. 5 minutes remain in the opening half from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Here is Daniels. That pass loose on the floor and a battle for possession. It's a tie-up in the end. So the possession arrow belongs to Villanova. So they will keep it. Look at the 3-point percentage leaders in the NCAA this season. Baylor lead that category, shooting 41.5% from beyond the arc this season. South Dakota State and Colgate were second and third on that list. but Baylor struggling mightily beyond the arc, with just 1 for 10 so far. And that's an area where they usually excel. Here is Caleb Daniels, 5 on the shot clock. And it's turned over. The pass by Samuel is stolen. No points in the last 4 minutes for Baylor. Can they change that here? Slowing it down is Mitchell. Halfway through the shot clock. Mitchell with the drive. Denied. A block there by Brandon Slater. It will stay with Baylor. Still 11 on the shot clock. But how about that block? And fire it up is Brandon Slater. So it'll be inbounded from the baseline. Mitchell up top for Teague. Teague fakes the shot, keeping his pivot. Now it's out with Flagler. Flagler along the baseline gets the layup to go. It's a much-needed field goal for Baylor. 24-20. Bears trailing by 4. Inside the final 4 minutes of the first half now. Here's Robinson Earl now on the left wing. Perimeter, it's Slater. Slater, cross-court pass, tipped by Mitchell. Out of play with 12 seconds left on the shot clock and a TV timeout. 3:40 to go in the opening half of play. It's a good one from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Villanova in pursuit of an upset. Baylor looking to make sure that does not happen. It is the Wildcats with a 4-point lead. I'm back after this. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Time winding down here in the first half. Just under 4 minutes to play. And it is Villanova with a 4-point lead, 24-20 the score. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in on this Saturday evening. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. I know it's been pretty nice weather-wise here in the Northeast. Been able to enjoy some of the nice weather. 3:40 left in the half, and Baylor's offense, which is usually firing on all cylinders, has really struggled so far in this game. Held to just 20 points through the first 16 minutes, and it's very uncharacteristic from them, shooting just 1 of 10 from 3, and they're the best three-point shooting team in the country, keep in mind. All right, we resume play. 5 on the shot clock. Here's the drive and the finish, but it will not count. An offensive foul against Villanova. Brandon Slater called for the charge. Teague was set, taking one for the team. And it's a turnover for Villanova. Here now come Baylor. Pass inside. Unable to finish was Chachua off the glass. And now here comes Justin Moore. Villanova leading by 4. They're now out rebounding Baylor by 3. Robinson Earl back to Samuels. And a nice feed to Dixon, who finishes for 2. On the right wing. And now passing it to the top of the key was Jared Butler, who was nearly stolen by Villanova. One back by Baylor. The shot clock still going. Baseline floater no good. Offensive rebound. Three-pointer on the money. A much needed 3, just the second of the game for the Bears. Knocking it down is Flager. To make it a 3-point game. 2 for 11 are Baylor from 3-point range. Here are Villanova. Spinning through is Samuels. And a foul ultimately called against Baylor. Going back to that 3 from Flager. That's what Baylor need more of. And they're a really good 3-point shooting team, as I said. But you wouldn't think so based on how they've shot from deep tonight. But maybe that 3 is a sign of things to come. As Jermaine Samuels comes out for Villanova. Probably won't return till the second half. Villanova just got the ball in time. And now trying to gain separation and scooping it in with a left hand is Justin Moore. What a nice finish. A patient finish from Moore. 7 points for him, his 3rd field goal of the evening. Now here's a pass inside. Layup no good, but grabbing his own rebound was Chachua, blocked on the second attempt. Here's Moore for the Wildcats. 80 seconds to go in the first half. Moore finds Daniels. Daniels with the pass. That shot partially blocked. And looks like a foul was called inside. Yeah, well, Chachua dealing with a lot of physicality inside. But great defense nonetheless from Dixon, who had the block. And now going to the line for the Wildcats is Eric Dixon. 1:10 to play in the opening half. The first free throw is off the mark. And both free throws, no good from Dixon on that trip to the line. Vital with the rebound. Baylor trailing by 5. A minute to play in the first half. Here's Butler. Back from Mitchell. Butler's 3. No good. And there for the board is Justin Moore. Here's Moore for the Wildcats. move inside. Nice bounce pass, and Dixon with a finish puts Nova up by 7. Colin Gillespie loving it. He's watching his team on. He tore his MCL early in the month in a game against Creighton. And many expected that to be a huge loss for Villanova. But here they are in the Sweet 16 looking to pull off an upset against the 1-seed Baylor Bears. They lead it by 7, about a 3-second difference between the two clocks. Mitchell with the ball in his hands. Gives it up. Taking it into the lane. And passing it off was, I believe, Teague. Yeah, it was Teague, but unable to haul it in was Mark Vital, and Baylor turn it over. 4.2 seconds remaining in the half. A timeout called. Villanova looking to extend the lead with a buzzer beater. I'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It turned out it was actually a full timeout. Nonetheless, I am back. 4 seconds remaining in the half. A reminder that the Masters is just around the corner. April 8th to the 11th is when the Masters will take place. So 4.2 seconds to be precise remaining in the half. Villanova with a 7-point lead, and now Baylor will call a timeout of their own. All right, so I'll step aside one more time. I promise this is a 60-second timeout. I'll be back after this. Don't go anywhere. All right, make it 30 seconds. I am back. Baylor have trailed for 11 minutes in the first half today. They only trailed for 8 minutes in their first 2 games of the tournament combined. Villanova Looking for a buzzer beater here. It's brought up by Justin Moore. The three-pointer, no good. Try to bank it in. Villanova got a good look, but that will do it for the first half. It's Villanova 30, Baylor 23 after 20 minutes of play from Hinkle Fieldhouse in this South Region semifinal. It was a first half that certainly did not disappoint. Can the one-seed Baylor Bears come back in the second half, or will Villanova pull off the upset? It's the underdogs with a 7-point lead at the break. I'm back with the halftime report right after this. Welcome into the halftime report, everybody. It's Villanova with a 30-23 lead over Baylor after 20 minutes of play. Second Sweet 16 game of the day. And how about this? Perhaps an upset brewing. The Wildcats leading by 7 at the break. And hey, I'll tell you what, they've looked pretty solid so far. And I think the key really has been them causing some trouble for Baylor, but Baylor has done themselves a bit, have done themselves their own harm, I should say, because Baylor, who are the best 3-point shooting team in the country, haven't been able to really get in any rhythm whatsoever from beyond the arc. With that being said, give Villanova credit. They've been fantastic on the offensive glass, getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound. And how about Jermaine Samuels in that first half? 9 points, perfect 2 of 2 from the field, 5 of 5 at the line, 3 rebounds as well. And he's been leading the way for this Villanova team. And this is clearly a team who's hungry to prove everyone wrong. Baylor, the pretty big favorites heading in. And as I alluded to, their 3-point struggles have been quite a surprise, really, considering how good they've been all season long from beyond the arc. But they've certainly struggled so far through 20 minutes. We'll see if that changes in the second half. It'll need to change, especially if Villanova continue to have the edge on the offensive glass. So yeah, I'm not saying Baylor are in trouble, but certainly Villanova causing them some trouble, and we should be in for quite the second half. Davion Mitchell, meanwhile, for Baylor, did make some pretty big shots on the defensive side as well, forcing some turnovers. He was the player who impressed me the most in that first half for the Baylor Bears. But we shall see who else steps up for this Bears team in the second half. Mitchell's decision-making, too, on offense has impressed me a lot. Has a great vision on the court. Some key assists, but it's Baylor, the 1 seed, trailing by 7 to the 5 seed Villanova in the South region. Earlier today in the Midwest region, to get the weekend Sweet 16 action underway, it was the 12 seed Oregon State taking on the 8 seed Loyola Chicago. My goodness, it was an extremely low scoring first half. It was 23-17 Oregon State at the break. Both teams shot much better in the second half, and just some clutch three-pointers from Oregon State got them the win, 65-58 the final. And Oregon State move on to the Elite Eight, and they will await the winner of Syracuse and Houston. That game taking place tonight at 9:55 Eastern Time. Here were the thoughts of Oregon State head coach Wayne Tinkle after the game.
I think on one side it said Pac-12 12, and then March Madness 16, and then they put my dad's initials on my right sleeve, and I wore that. Normally I don't do that, but I had so much confidence and belief in this group. I knew that this thing, as good as Loyola is, man, and as well coached, I knew that this thing was meant to be.
All right, so there you heard it from Wayne Tinkle, head coach of the Oregon State Beavers, and what a run this Oregon State team is in the midst of. First team punching their ticket into the Elite Eight. Who would have thought? The halftime report continues after this quick break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back with more. Welcome back into the halftime report, everybody. Next up, in a day of 4 games in the Sweet 16, it'll be Arkansas taking on the Cinderella story of the tournament, 15 seed Oral Roberts. These two teams actually met earlier in the season. Oral Roberts had a 10-point lead at the half, but ultimately lost, but they can certainly compete. And if you don't know that by now, then you've been living under a rock. Then to close out the night, it'll be Houston taking on the 11 seed Syracuse Orange. Can Syracuse pull off the upset? What a story their run in this tournament has been. Some great matchups to look forward to later on tonight in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. I'm certainly looking forward to both of those games. As a neutral fan, just hoping for some more upsets. That's what March is all about, isn't it? And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this evening's broadcast. Game 2 of 4 in the Sweet 16 today. 30-23, Villanova leading Baylor in this one. And it should certainly make for a fascinating second half. I think Villanova have a good chance of pulling this off, especially the way that first half played out. I did not see Villanova limiting Baylor to 23 points through the first 20 minutes, but that's exactly what they've done. And so all to play for here in the second half, of course. And I'll be honest, coming into this tournament, I did not see Villanova being a threat at all without their star player Colin Gillespie, who tore his MCL back on the 3rd of March. But this is what March is all about, isn't it? And we've seen crazy upsets throughout this tournament. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, just the first time in history that 4 teams in the Sweet 16 are an 11 seed or lower. Of course, Nova are a 5 seed, which I think, some people are overlooking. They are a 5 seed. They were a really good team, throughout the season. Obviously, losing Gillespie was a blow, and they did lose in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament. So I think a lot of people are forgetting, how good this team was earlier in the season. However, it would still be a big upset if they are able to pull it off here in the second half against Baylor. We shall see if they can manage to do it. It won't be any easy task because, I definitely think Baylor will be a team coming out in the second half right out of the gates, hungry to reclaim that lead and come back. And I just get the sense that they will start finding a rhythm offensively, which will be the key ingredient because, it's not like they had a bad half from a defensive aspect. They only held Villanova to 30 points, but the fact that they only managed to score 23 is definitely a big cause for concern. But there's plenty of time to turn it around. That's for certain. And we will see if they are able to do so in what should be a fascinating second half. Hopefully we get a game that comes down to the wire. We've had so many of those throughout this memorable March Madness tournament so far. And the second 20-minute period is on the way just shortly. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast thus far, and still so much basketball on the way from Hinkle Fieldhouse. 2 great games, as I mentioned, to look forward to tonight. Arkansas, Oral Roberts, Syracuse, Houston. Who knows what's going to happen in those 2 games. But I could certainly see upsets in both of those games. I mean, you can't write off Oral Roberts now, and the same can be said for Syracuse. I mean, Buddy Boeheim has been lighting it up. It will be a tough task for the Orange going up against that Houston defense. Houston does not allow the opponent to score that easily whatsoever. So after this game, still 2 more matchups to look forward to later on. This is what March Madness is all about. It's why you got to love the tournament. But before we look ahead to those 2 matchups later on, we've still got a big second half between Nova and Baylor. And I did predict Baylor to win, as I'm sure many did. But all of a sudden, after that first half, an upset alert perhaps. We shall see. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. After a quick break, I'll wrap up The halftime report, Oregon State defeating Loyola Chicago earlier. Can Villanova upset Baylor here? We shall see. The second half just around the corner. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned here across YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch because we've got a good one from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm back in a moment to get you set for second half action in Indiana. On a beautiful Saturday evening in Indianapolis, Indiana, it's Villanova leading Baylor 30-23, looking to pull off the upset and move on to the Elite Eight. But a whole 20 minutes of basketball still to come at Hinkle Fieldhouse. A good second half it should be. Can Baylor battle back, or will Villanova manage to knock out the second one seed this tournament? Illinois were, of course, eliminated by Loyola Chicago in the second round. Will another one seed go down here in the Sweet 16? We'll find out in the second half, which is coming your way on the other side of this break. It's Nova with a 7-point halftime lead, and the second half is next, right after this break. The stage is set for the second half from Indianapolis at Hinkle Fieldhouse, home of the Butler Bulldogs. It's Villanova with a 30-23 lead over Baylor as we get set for the second half of action. And look at the Baylor field goal percentage. They just shot 34% from the field. Villanova, meanwhile, 50%. And Baylor only managing to knock down 2 threes. Keep in mind they were the best three-point shooting team in the country throughout the course of the season. But focusing on the Villanova offensive production, the passing has been key throughout that first half. Some great ball movement from the Wildcats led to some easy 2-pointers. And that's how you play as a team, and that's how you knock down a number 1 seed like Baylor. We'll see if they can keep that up in the second half as Jay Wright's team are looking to pull off the upset. The stage is set for the second half, and here we go from Hinkle Fieldhouse. The second half is underway. Baylor in possession, and off we go with Baylor trailing by 7. Baylor is in blue. Villanova is in blue, Baylor in white, and that's a nice bucket right off the bat for the Bears. The layup converted, 5-point game. Here for Villanova is Justin Moore. Moore with the pass to Robinson Earl. Robinson Earl picks up the dribble, finds Moore. Moore lost the dribble, dives on it, and now gets the pass away. Here's Robinson Earl along the baseline, spin move, and he draws the foul. Or no, he actually stepped out of bounds, excuse me. Yep, there's the right foot. He stepped out beforehand. The 8th turnover of the game for the Wildcats. Archidiacono comes off. In comes Brandon Slater for Villanova. Here is Jared Butler. Butler, the bounce pass to Vital. Vital back outside with Jared Butler. Here's Davion Mitchell. Mitchell going to take it back out. 5 to shoot. The alley-oop, and the layup is good from Mark Vital. Great ball movement from Baylor. That's more like it from the Bears, and it's a 3-point game. 30-27. Moore finds Robinson Earl. Now it's Caleb Daniels. Daniels guarded by Teague, and that's a jump shot partially blocked and scooped up by Mitchell. Baylor riding a wave of momentum to begin the second half. Mitchell into the lane. The pass eventually controlled by Butler. Takes into the lane. Back outside for Mitchell. 10 on the shot clock. Spin move. Mitchell with a pass out to Jared Butler. Butler taking the shot clock all the way down. The 3-pointer blocked. Has to put it up. It is a shot clock violation. Lockdown defense from Villanova. And the block there coming from Brandon Slater. Here are Villanova. Pass to the right wing corner. 3 no good, and the rebound eventually secured by Vital. Here is Mitchell for the Bears. Underneath the basket, circles around, a floater short, and stepping out of bounds was Slater, so it will stay with Baylor, who do get a fresh shot clock. You can tell, though, by the way Baylor have started the second half, they're coming out with some urgency. They know what's at stake. Butler will take a seat. Back into the game comes Adam Flager. Butler just 5 points tonight. Very underwhelming performance from him. Look at some game trends. There's been 5 ties, 4 lead changes. The biggest leads, 7 for both teams. Both teams have been up by 7 at one point. It's now a 3-point game. That shot won't go for Vital. And in reaction, he commits the foul. Coming down with the rebound was Caleb Daniels. Second foul on Vital. 16:58 to go in the second half. Villanova yet to record a point this half. Can they alter that here? Pump fake. Now taking it in was Samuels. Bounce pass inside. And there's the finish plus the foul. It's Jermaine Samuels with the and one. And it's Villanova's first points of the half. Yeah, a patient finish from Samuels. He was just waiting for the contact. And once he felt it, went up, got the bucket. Scott Drew, head coach of Baylor, not too happy about the call. Free throw knocked down. It's a 6-point Wildcat lead. And Jared Butler back into the game, so he quickly re-enters. By the way, Flo Thombo was called for the foul. That's his third of the game, something to keep an eye on. Baylor, no points in the last 2+ minutes. Teague back to Vital. Vital will drive, and the right-handed layup is good. 6 points for Vital, his second field goal of the half. 33-29 the score, and a close one from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Here is more. Bounce pass to Samuels. Samuels takes it in. The layup good as he blew right by Jared Butler, who took a spill. 14 points for Jermaine Samuels, 35-29 the score. Bounce pass here finds Flager, and that's a nice floater converted to make it a 4-point game. He has 7 points, Flager. Baylor trying to get into an offensive rhythm. Something they haven't been able to do all evening long. Pass outside. Robinson Earl thought about the shot, did not take it. Here's a deep 2 off the mark from Moore. And now Baylor will push it ahead. Here's a deep 3, short from Flager. And the rebound secured by Jermaine Samuels. 5 minutes played in the second half. Nova leading by 4. Working his way inside and feeding it inside to Slater was Jermaine Samuels, who's taking over for Villanova. The finish by Slater has the Wildcats up by 6. Baylor just shooting 14% from 3. And in the tournament, have shot 35%, but struggling mightily tonight. That is an offensive foul called against Villanova. How about Jermaine Samuels scoring and assisting? And Villanova have a 37-21 lead with 14:22 to go in the game. I'm back after the break. The Wildcats are Welcome back in, everybody. Just over 5 minutes played in the second half. Earlier today, of course, the Oregon State Beavers knocked off Loyola Chicago and are advancing to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1982. Oregon State await the winner of Syracuse and Houston. That game tipping off at 9:55 Eastern Time tonight. Dan Gavitt, the NCAA Senior Vice President of Basketball, in attendance for this one. And in this game, it's Villanova with a 6-point lead over Baylor. As the foul is called, Mitchell with a trip to the line. It's been a good game here between the 5-seed Villanova Wildcats and the 1-seed Baylor Bears here in the South region. The winner will be the second team to punch their ticket into the Elite Eight after Oregon State did so earlier today, I should say. Faking the three-point shot was Jared Butler. Now top of the key, it's Davion Mitchell. Mitchell with the drive, the right-handed layup blocked, offensive board, and the putback is good from Mayer. 37-33. Mayer's had a pretty quiet night. 4-point game, a close one as it's been throughout. Largest lead has been 7 for both teams. Arcidiacono, corner 3, no good. Offensive rebound by Robinson Earl. And now here is Daniels. Top of the key, it's Eric Dixon. Villanova slow it down, 7 on the shot clock. All the way in with a left-handed jam is Brandon Slater. How about that? A ferocious dunk, and Villanova have a 6-point lead. Just the second field goal of the game for Slater, but how about the throwdown from Slater? Now Baylor looking for a response, and they get it. Mitchell starting to get hot on offense. The off-balance layup converted. 6 points for him, 39-35. Now at the other end, it's Chris Arcidiacono. He finds Dixon, 13 minutes remaining in regulation. Dixon passes it off. The baseline jumper won't go for Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Baylor will push it on the left wing. It's with Flager. Flager, nice pass. And there's the finish. And it's a 2-point game. It's Jonathan Chachua, with the field goal. And a timeout called by Jay Wright. The Baylor Bears starting to come alive. Villanova still with the lead, but only a 2-point lead. Nonetheless, an impressive slam dunk by Slater moments ago. However, Baylor are coming back. 12:27 left in the second half. Action continues from Hinkle Fieldhouse right after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody. 12:27 to play in regulation, and it's Villanova with a 2-point lead over Baylor. A close one here at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Villanova calling a timeout. A left-handed jam by Brandon Slater. Just more impressive every time I see it. And now Villanova with possession out of the timeout. Here is Justin Moore. Pass to the baseline. Now excellent ball movement outside. Good three-point look. No good from Cole Swider. All 14 points from Baylor this half, by the way, have been scored in the paint. Here is Teague. Teague all the way in. The left-handed layup good. And this game is tied. 39 all. Just under 12 minutes remaining. There's been 6 ties, 4 lead changes. The biggest lead has been 7 for both teams. Here's Justin Moore onto the left hand. Taking it in. Looks like he might have walked. Nothing called. And he finishes. His original shot might have been actually partially blocked. And that's why no travel was called. Villanova reclaimed the lead. 9 points for Moore. Bounce pass for Teague. Teague all the way in. High off the glass. No good. The rebound controlled and off the mark from Thamba. It is last touched by Villanova, so it will stay with the Bears. 11:01 to play in a thriller. 41-39. The Wildcats by 2. Action continues after this timeout. Welcome back. 11:01 to go. A reminder that the Masters is just around the corner, April 8th to the 11th. Should be spectacular as it usually is. 41-39 in this one. Villanova by 2. A quick game summary for you. In the first half, Villanova shot 50%, Villanova 34%. But so far here in the second half, the story has been flipped. Villanova shooting 42% and Baylor 57%. Into the corner, it's Mayer a 3. No good. Battle for the rebound, and it's a tie-up between both Thamba and Robinson Earl. The possession arrow does belong to Villanova. So they will get possession of the ball. Well, this is going to be a game where the winner is going to have to grind it out, you feel like. It's just playing out that way as we approach the midway point of the second half. Here is Caleb Daniels. Daniels picks up his dribble, cross-court pass, deflected by Mayer, recovered in the backcourt, and now turned over. Here come Baylor on the break. It's Mitchell all the way in for 2, and it's 41-41. There's now been 7 ties, 4 lead changes in this game. And Moore throws it away. Nope, it did take a deflection, excuse me. Yeah, it was a tough situation there for Villanova. There was a battle for the ball. Daniels did come away with it, but the pass from the ground was turned over. It went right to Baylor. And now a timeout called. The fans of Baylor fired up. It's 41-all midway through the second half. All right, welcome back in out of the timeout. It's Baylor in possession, 41-all. The 3 ball is too strong and still battling for the rebound here. It's eventually snatched by Slater, who's fouled by – oh, no, they actually called a jump ball here. All right, and now this time the possession arrow belongs to Baylor. Yep, there it was. It was Mayer who was in on the action, able to tie it up with I couldn't quite catch who it was for Villanova, but nonetheless, possession with Baylor. And here is Mitchell. Mitchell top of the key, 41-41. Mitchell kicks it out. Pump fake, spin move inside, the layup good, and Baylor have the lead. How about that bit of skill from Jared Butler? It's the first lead for Baylor since 6:42 remained in the first half. First lead of the second half for Baylor, and it comes at a good time for the Bears with 9:12 remaining in this game. That's tipped, recovered by Jermaine Samuels. Samuels in trouble. It's knocked away and stolen by Baylor. The no-look pass and the layup converted by Mitchell, and Baylor have a 4-point lead. The Bears are rolling at the moment. It's 10 points for Mitchell on his 5th field goal of the game. That's the 5th turnover this half for Villanova. They're proving to be very costly. Here's Justin Moore for the Wildcats. Spinning his way in the lane, and how about another steal? It's Mitchell who strips it away. Pushing it ahead for Jared Butler. Baylor slows it down a bit. Butler to Mitchell. Now it's with Mayer. all the way in. The shot is good. Meyer dancing his way into the lane. It's 47-41, an 8-0 run for Baylor in the last 2+ minutes. It's completely changed here. Villanova were leading by 6 at the half. They now trail by 6. No points in the last 3.5 minutes for the Wildcats. Here's a 3-ball. No offensive rebound, though. Controlled in the corner by Samuels. Cross-court pass. Another 3 on the way. Off the mark again is Caleb Daniels. Baylor with the rebound this time. The rebounds this half, 10-7 in favor of the Bears. Meyer hands it off. Now it's Jared Butler. Can Baylor grab their largest lead of the night? No, an air ball 3, but it's grabbed underneath, and Chachua couldn't finish. And here comes Villanova the other way. Along the baseline, Dixon passes it to the corner. Here's Caleb Daniels. 7 minutes to play in the second half. That pass gets away from Dixon. And another turnover for Villanova. 7 minutes to play in the second half. And just like that, it's Baylor with the lead. Great defense. And some steals leading to some offensive buckets at the other end. 47-41. The action continues after the break. All right, welcome back in. Exactly 7 minutes to play, and just like that, it's Baylor with a 6-point lead. Scott Drew, who of course is the head coach of Baylor, was actually the Butler student manager from 1991 to 93, so he's very familiar with Hinkle Fieldhouse, where this game is of course taking place. Homer Drew, the father of Scott, is watching on in attendance for this one tonight. The Baylor Bears in the first half shot just 34.5% from the field. So far in the second half, 54.5%. The improvement on offense has certainly paid dividends. A 6-point lead, and it's Baylor with the ball. Villanova have turned over the ball 6 times in the last 3.5 minutes. That will have to change if they want to pull off the upset. Nice move for Mitchell. Now it's with Jared Butler. Butler into the paint, hands it off. Outside, it's Adam Flager. Now back into the hands of Mitchell. He'll drive once more. High off the glass, no good. And the rebound is picked up by Robinson Earl. Or rather, it was actually Jermaine Samuels, excuse me. Here's Justin Moore, and a foul called on Vital off the ball. It'll be inbounded underneath the basket. That's the third foul on Vital. Bounce pass. Return to Daniels. Tough shot. No good. But it's scooped up by Robinson Earl, who puts it in. And Villanova with a much-needed basket to make it 47-43. Look at the second half points in the paint. Baylor have double the amount of Villanova, 24-12. Here's Mitchell. Teague with some separation. Can't bank it home. And there for the rebound is Brian Antoine. Here is Moore. 5:45 to go in a close one. And that shot is blocked. Nicely done by Mitchell. T gives it up. The three-pointer is good. Adam Flager from downtown and Baylor have a 7-point lead. First made three of the second half. A lot of the offensive production has come in the paint. And on that shot, a foul is called. It goes against Flager, and Caleb Daniels will head to the line for the Wildcats. Mitchell has been spectacular on defense for Baylor. And then it leads to the three-pointer at the other end. Homer Drew, the father of head coach Scott Drew, absolutely loving what he's seeing as Samuels knocks down the first of two free throw attempts. To make it a 5-point game, it's knocked down. Caleb Daniels 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. 50-45 the score. With 5 minutes to play. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this ending. An Elite 8 spot on the line. Here's Jared Butler. Butler, the floater, too strong. And the rebound, rather, controlled by Villanova. Nice work by Eric Dixon on the glass. Samuels to Dixon. Now a three from the right wing, off the mark by Justin Moore. Baylor, the other way, will slow it down with 4.5 to play. Here's Butler. Butler takes it in. The layup is good. And Baylor back up by 7. 9 points for Jared Butler. He hasn't been spectacular tonight. But that's a big field goal there. 4 minutes now to play at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Here's Justin Moore. Now Samuels, and a blocking foul called against Mark Vital, who clearly disagrees with the call. 3:49 remaining. Do not miss the ending. It's Baylor leading by 7, but Villanova not going away. The final 4 minutes after the break. All right, everybody, under 4 minutes to play in the second half. It's a 52. Oh, I apologize. I did not fix the score here. It's a 52 oh, no, that was right. Yep. No, it wasn't. 52-45 is actually the score. Apologize for that. A look ahead to tomorrow's action at 2:10 Eastern Time. Creighton takes on Gonzaga. Then at 5, it's Florida State, Michigan. At 7:15, UCLA takes on Alabama. And that's the Battle of the Pac-12 when Oregon takes on USC to wrap up a great weekend of Sweet 16 action at 9:45. That three is partially blocked, and it's last touched by Robinson Earl, Baylor basketball. Yep, the three-point attempt by Daniels partially blocked. Baylor in possession with a 7-point lead. Here is Teague. It's a zone defense here from Villanova. Another drive here, off the glass and in. An impressive finish by Mitchell. It's 54-45, the largest lead of the game for Baylor. 12 points now for Mitchell. 3 minutes to play. Villanova in some trouble. Justin Moore here, pounding his way in, and the layup is good. 54-47. Moore has 11 points. Back to a 7-point ball game. Here is Flager for Baylor. Now it's Butler. Butler to the corner, finds Mitchell, who's been quite impressive at both ends of the floor in the second half. Mitchell, the crossover move, deep two, got it! Javion Mitchell is in a zone right now, 56-47. That's 14 points for him. 2:12 to go. Passing it out is Antoine. Thinking about the shot, but passing it is Moore. Moore gets it back at the top of the key. Now on the right wing, Daniels met in the paint. Could not get the shot to go, and the rebound secured by Flager as Baylor slow it down, up by 9. Inside the final 2 minutes from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Now it's Teague. Shot clock down to 5. Ball in the hands of Mitchell. A 3-ball on the way. No good. And there for the rebound is Caleb Daniels. It's the largest deficit this tournament that Villanova are facing right now. Daniels throws it away. The steal by Flager. And Baylor will now use up every second of the shot clock they can as a timeout is called. 1:14 to go. Baylor leading by 9 with possession of the ball. Rather, a foul was called. A foul called here. Villanova have really no choice at this stage but to foul. Down by 9, but Baylor not in the bonus yet. And it looks like the Baylor Bears are going to move on to the Elite 8 as a 1 seed. 1:10 to go. And now a timeout is indeed called. So with 1 minute, 9 seconds to go, a timeout called by Baylor and unhappy Jay Wright. 56-47. I'm back after this. All right, welcome back in, everybody. 69 seconds to play, and it's a 56-47 lead for Baylor. Baylor with the ball as well. Villanova still have to commit a couple more fouls before Baylor are in the bonus. Villanova's turnovers have been costly. They only turned the ball over 6 times in each of their games earlier in the tournament. In the first round against Winthrop, and then in the second round against North Texas. Today, they've had 16 turnovers. And in the second half, Baylor have outscored Villanova 33-17. It's been a dominant second half from the Baylor Bears, and that's why they're up by 9 with a minute 9 to play. Can Villanova somehow create a turnover? Not here. It's inbounded at Mitchell, who's immediately fouled. It's only the 4th foul of the half, though, by Villanova. They'll need to do that a few more times before Baylor will head to the line with a 1-and-1 scenario. 2 seconds coming off the clock there. To inbound, it's Jared Butler. He gets it to Flager. There's the foul by Jermaine Samuels. Not even a single second coming off the clock this time. It's now 5 fouls committed by Villanova. Back into the game for the Wildcats is Caleb Daniels. The referees will converse about something. Not sure exactly what. It's probably about the clock. Find it hard to believe that not even a single second came off that clock. But they keep it that way. So 1:07 to go. Villanova still need a couple more fouls before Baylor are into the bonus. It's passed in once more to Flager, who gets it back to the inbounder, which was Jared Butler, who is then fouled. 4 seconds coming off the clock. A minute 3 to play now. And it'll be foul number 6. So one more, and finally Baylor will be in the bonus. That's in to Butler. There comes the foul that puts Baylor in the bonus, and it'll be a 1-and-1 coming up with a minute 1 to play. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this evening's broadcast. 2 free throw attempt, or rather a 1-and-1 here. And first one's missed. Rebound secured by Robinson Earl. Here come Villanova the other way. They've missed their last 9 3-point field goal attempts. They go for 2 here, off the glass and in from Justin Moore to keep the Wildcats' hopes alive. That makes it 56-49, so that went exactly as Villanova were hoping it would go. After the break, it'll be Baylor ball, 52.5 seconds to play. It's the Bears by 9. I'm back in 60. Welcome back, everybody. 52.5 seconds to play. Baylor up by 7. 56-49 the score. Justin Moore with a big bucket. The winner of this game to the Elite Eight. And they'll face either Arkansas or Oral Roberts. That game coming up in actually a couple minutes. 7:25 Eastern Time tip. And so here we go. Baylor inbounding from the baseline. Can Villanova force a turnover? No. It's in cleanly to Adam Flager. There comes the foul, and a big 1-and-1 here for Flager as he goes to the line. Well, the spectacular defense, particularly in the second half, has been a key for Baylor. It's been leading to good offense as well, especially compared to that abysmal first half Baylor had on the offensive side. So here we go, a 1-and-1 for Flager, and he knocks down the first free throw. A huge free throw there for Flager. And now looks to make it 2 for 2. He's an 81.8% free throw shooter on the season. And no surprise, he knocks down both 58-49, 51.5 seconds to go. Here's Justin Moore for Villanova across half court. Passes it to the left wing. The three no good. Rebound by Flager. And that should just about do it. The foul committed by Robinson Earl. And Flager will have another 1-and-1 on the way. With 39.8 seconds to play. In Baylor leading by 9. Villanova's season will come to an end. They certainly gave it their all tonight, but the turnovers were costly as Flager knocks down the first to ensure him a second free throw attempt. Not many had the Wildcats going all the way to the Sweet 16 after the loss of Colin Gillespie as he tore his MCL earlier in the month. Huge blow, but they got to the Sweet 16, falling to one of the favorites in this tournament, Baylor. 30 seconds to play. Contested three, airballed. The rebound secured by Flager, and a quick foul committed with 27 seconds left. And now Baylor are in the double bonus and can begin to celebrate. The Baylor fans in attendance making some noise. And the 1 seed Baylor Bears will be moving on to the Elite Eight to face either Arkansas or the Cinderella team, Oral Roberts. That game actually tipping off in about 2 minutes. First free throw converted by Flager. Robinson Earl comes off, a leader of this team. Both free throws good, 62-49 now the score. 27 seconds to play. Here's Justin Moore. Moore to the baseline. Pounding his way inside, making the layup. Makes it 62-51 with 18 seconds left. They get it into Flager, back to Mitchell, who will dribble it out, and Baylor are on their way to the Elite Eight. Villanova will not bother fouling at this point, and that is it. The clock reaches triple zeros. The horn sounds, and Baylor are Elite Eight bound as they defeat Villanova 62-51. It was not easy by any means, but Baylor have done it. The 1 seed in the South region are advancing. That's it from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Villanova salute their fans. They certainly gave it their all. but come up just short. So there you have it. Baylor await the winner of Arkansas and Oral Roberts, which is tipping off literally right now over at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. All right. Well, how about that, folks? Baylor get the job done. They were trailing by 6 at the half. They win by 11, excuse me. What a second half performance from the Bears, all starting with their prolific defense. 3 wins down and 3 to go for a Baylor team who are one of the favorites in March Madness. Well, this is a special team, and they showed why tonight. They faced some resiliency, still able to get the job done. As that will conclude my broadcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, as I am Samuel Reese signing off, saying so long. The Baylor Bears defeat the Villanova Wildcats 62-51 and are moving on to the Elite Eight. Second team to punch their ticket into the Elite Eight. I'll see you guys next time, which will be tomorrow. I'll be on the call for 2 games. It's U.S. Soccer, the focus tomorrow. Noon Eastern, I'm on the call for the U.S. Senior Teams friendly against Northern Ireland. And then at 6, it's the big one, as the U.S. U23 team will face Honduras in a winner-take-all Olympic qualifier. So make sure you tune in to that. I'll see you then. So long for now. Baylor